This comment was deleted from the video link. I managed to screenshot it before it was deleted. I had been planning on replying to it, and I still wanted to address what was left in the comment. I'm not going to show who it is because it was deleted. But I will say Mackenzie has a really good video on this topic, or kind of sort of along the lines of this. And Conrad confessing his love for Belly the day before she was supposed to get married was a selfish thing to do. I'm not going to make excuses for Conrad there. However, if y'all really believe that he told her about Jared cheating to hurt her, and so she would be with him, I don't think that's a correct assessment at all. The one reason he let her go in book 2 is because he didn't think he could love her the way she deserved to be loved. But he thought his brother could. And for him to find out that Jared ended up cheating on her, I think he just thinks she deserves to know before she marries him. Like, he doesn't want her marrying someone who will hurt her. He's not deliberately trying to hurt her. He's trying to keep her from getting hurt, from entering a marriage where she doesn't know everything. And while, yes, he does want to be with her, it's separate from that. Like, yes, I do think it's a weird time to confess your love for someone, but he had already been thinking about confessing his love to her anyway, after he had talked to Ernie. And I think what had been holding him off was the fact that she could have a happy life with Jeremiah, and he didn't want to ruin that. But when he finds out Jared cheated, you know, all bets are off. Though, like I said, I don't agree with how he went about it and how he handled it. And I don't think he wanted to be second choice. And I don't think he would want to be with her, you know, out of default. I think that was just his confession and desperation. I don't actually think he was expecting her to be with him right then. And like Mackenzie said in her video, Conrad isn't rewarded for his actions here. Like, he basically loses everyone because of what he does. Like, it's shown to be a mistake on his part. But no, he was not trying to deliberately hurt her so he could be with her. And I feel like I'm not exactly explaining myself well. But the gist of it is, he felt like he had to tell her about Jeremiah because she deserved to know. And he wanted to be with her and he loved her, yes. And those are two separate things that just got brought up in the same moment because of his sense of desperation.
Feeling like he has to be the responsible one. He doesn't feel like he can be the one to be vulnerable.
Everything she just said in her whole video, 100% yes. I followed this creative forever. I love her content. She combines two of my favorite things, television and astrology. And honestly, I just want to take another opportunity to talk about Conrad's chart and maybe Belly's chart if I don't ramble on too much. Because while I've talked about what placements I think Conrad has, I don't think I made a video where I explained why I gave him the placements I did. So everything she said in her video about Conrad, that is why I think he's a Scorpio sun. And obviously Jenny just confirmed that yesterday. And I knew it. I called it. I've been called it. And his moon is in Cancer. Because, first of all, he adores his mom. Second of all, he takes care of everyone. And the expectation is placed on him to take care of everyone. It is always the expectation placed on Cancer moons. He's so self-sacrificing. Also, if he's going to be 19 this year, he was born in 2004. Saturn was in Cancer in 2004, which just further proves my theory that he's a Cancer moon, because Conrad is the epitome of moon conjunct Saturn. He's a Scorpio Mercury for much of the same reasons he's a Scorpio sun. Also, I can't see him as a Libra Mercury, and I can't see him as a Sag Mercury. Conrad could not be more of a Virgo Venus if he tried. 3 words: acts of service. No, he's not the best at verbally expressing how he feels, but he is constantly showing people. That's why he thinks people know, because to him, he's always showing it. And I gave him an Aquarius Mars. I did this for a couple reasons. One, because in my opinion, Aquarius Mars is probably like the least understood Mars sign. They are tough nuts to crack. It's an air sign, and Conrad is very intelligent. He's also not extremely confrontational, but he can be if the situation calls for it. Once again, he's very independent, doesn't like asking for help from anyone. And one really big reason I gave him this placement is because it would make his Mars square his sun. He has major issues with his father. He hates the way his father handles things. Conrad is all about doing things the right way, and his dad isn't. Also, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, he's competitive as fuck. I did kind of struggle with picking his rising sign. Kind of set on him being an Earth rising. You know, when I'm thinking about picking a character's rising sign, I have to think about what house the placements are going to go in. Like, I thought about Taurus rising, but I don't think it would be ruled by Venus, and I don't think he would, like, have Mars on his midheaven. With Virgo Venus, I don't see him being a first house Venus, so I thought, well, maybe it's in their 12th house. But with Virgo Venus, I couldn't really see him having an 11th house moon in Saturn. As an 11th house Saturn myself, I don't really see that aspect in Conrad. So that left Capricorn rising, which I can see. There's just kind of some stuff I adjusted in my head. Like, I don't really see him having 7th house placements like his Cancer, Moon, and Saturn. But I can see it if they're in the 8th house. I don't see him having a 2nd house Mars. If anyone in that show is a 2nd house Mars, it's fucking Jeremiah. Also, again, as a 2nd house Mars myself. But I can see it if he has a 3rd house Mars. Now, he doesn't have the easiest relationship with his sibling. Also, with a Capricorn rising, his ruler would be Saturn, which I can very much see. And Libra would be in the 10th house. And in 2004, Jupiter was in Libra. You know, he has a plan for what he wants to do with his life. He wants to be a doctor, and he's very intelligent. You know, he's kind of set on that path. Also, very much can see Venus in the 9th house. Scorpio would be the 11th house with the Capricorn rising, but I can see his Scorpio placements winding up in the 12th house. If he has a late degree Capricorn rising, that's very much possible. Like, if his 12th house starts in Scorpio, yeah. I mean, I'm a Gemini rising and my 12th house starts in Aries. And of course, just like a Gemini rising, I rambled on and on and on. So don't really have time to explain Belly's chart, but I'm like nailed down on Conrad's. This part is simultaneously really sad and really funny to me. Sad because Connie Baby is still so alone. Like, besides Laurel, who does he have to talk to about this? And even though I do think he knows she never loved Jeremiah the way she loves him, I still think this is a big insecurity of his, because she was still gonna choose Jeremiah anyway. And when he hears from Jeremiah and not her, that she and Jeremiah are talking again, it's just like another stab to the heart. Especially since, you know, Jeremiah cheated on her. You'd think that'd be a reason for them not to talk that soon after, you know, they broke up. Even though they were about to get married. But, you know, it still may seem to Conrad like, you know, Jeremiah has done all these things, but never seems to face, like, consequences for his actions. Meanwhile, Conrad is all alone in California, facing every single consequence. But I think this right here can tie back to another line just a little bit earlier in this book. I put up with a lot worse from you. I said it automatically. I said it without thinking. I don't think what she means here is that what Conrad did was worse, because, I mean, objectively, it wasn't. I think what she means is that what Conrad did hurt her worse. And here's where we get to what I think is the funny part. He never meant as much to Belly as Conrad did. He did not have her heart the way Conrad did. So nothing he ever did, no matter how bad it was, would ever hurt her the way Conrad shutting down did. And that's why it's easier for Belly to get back in touch with Jeremiah first. It's easier for both of them to get over, you know, because I personally don't think that Jeremiah really loved her the way he was supposed to for someone who was going to marry her. I personally always think they were just supposed to be friends. So it is less awkward around them because their feelings weren't as involved.